There it is. I got through it. 10 sets to 10. And I dare say this time around was easier. Although it's a completely different sensation because last time I didn't feel the lower back pump that I felt this time around. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing that you could have the same weight, same volume, and week to week it will feel different. Different things fatigue differently. Obviously, the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, maybe something was tight and your form changed, and then you loaded a certain aspect of the movement more. I don't know, man. But this time around, I felt it all in my lower back. Felt like the legs weren't even. I don't know. Last week when I did it, I felt my adductors. It was like, okay, I'm gonna feel my adductors tomorrow and possibly the next few days. This time around, I didn't feel. I don't know. It's hard to process all of this stuff. I guess I'll find out over the next few days of what actually worked, what didn't. Another thing that makes me think right now is, last time was at the gym, whippy bar. Maybe the whippy bar makes it easier at the bottom of the squat because there is a whip. This bar of mine doesn't whip at all with 100 kilos. And so you could probably make an argument that the stiffer bar makes it harder on your lower back. It's the same thing when you deadlift. You deadlift with a stiff bar, man, you're going to feel it in your lower back. It's so much harder to break it off the floor. Maybe it's easier to squat with a whippier bar because it doesn't whip. So the only thing that freaking whips is the actual system. Maybe it's that as well. I'm not sure. But here's the footage. I'll roll the footage now. You guys will see how I went. I did 10 sets of 10 as I planned. I'm tired right now. Don't get me wrong. I feel like I've had a hell of a workout, which I have. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a different feeling to last time. I don't know. We'll see how we go. My hope here is that I will recover much quicker than last time. After last Saturday, it literally took me a good 5 days, to be able to kind of move well. Day 6 and 7, I started to kind of like move quite well in terms of, the quarter squats or the really high box squats that I was doing. I started feeling strong again. So maybe I could have done work day 7, day 6, but to do that much volume, 100 reps with 100 kilos, I wanted to completely really just get ready. And so today, even though, as you guys know, I don't have perfect conditions ever. It's the nature of nursing. It's the nature of my job. It's hard, man. Last night I did 10-hour night shift. Got home at 7:30 in the morning. Slept until 1:15, 1:30. Got up, went to a birthday party, got home. What time did we get home? 5 o'clock, something like that, 6 o'clock. And then I went straight to the garage and got to work. And so you're talking about a biology that is not ready for work because I am underfed, underslept, and so it's not the best. This is one of the things that I often forget about, and this is the aspect of, when I'm programming for my life, I often don't include life in my program. Sometimes I sit down and I write this, program in my mind, these ideas, and I often spend a lot of time with a pen and paper, and I'm just always jotting down Monday to Friday, different ideas, different breakdown of the body, how I'm going to target what, how long a certain thing takes to recover, all these types of things. But what I often, exclude, I always seem to omit nursing, life, sickness, kids' obligations, all of these things. And so when you start to layer some of these things on, then you really start to see what reality actually is for you. Like uh, if you're living off of squatting and powerlifting and whatever else, if you're a professional athlete, or even if you're, let's say, a professional content maker and that's all you do, that's all you freaking do, you could probably get a lot more work in, a lot better results. Is just when you, this is something that a lot of people don't think about. For me, you know, there's a lot more to my training than just what you see, these sets of reps and my ideas. There's a lot of going on, like, you know, we all work, the majority of people work. And so when you start to let those things in, you really start need to account for those things. Those things are a stressor as well. Lack of sleep is a stressor. Lack of food is a stressor. Your work is a stressor. All these different illnesses, kids being sick, you know, there's a lot of things that go on, and you have to include that into an effective program. Like if both of my kids are really, really sick, right? And, you know, they're coughing in my face, there's snot everywhere, and I'm taking care of them. Do you think it makes sense for me to go out that day and do like a humongous workout, you know, a squat or deadlift or bench? Do you think that makes sense? Because ultimately what you're doing in that scenario is that you're weakening your immune system. It's stress. You know, training is a stress. And so then you have a situation where your living environment is basically a pool of snot, a pool of viruses. You go out and you severely tax your system, central nervous system, metabolic system. You stress, that's what training is. You kill yourself. And then you place your butt back into that environment where there's viruses everywhere. You're going to be more likely to get sick when you do that. And so these are some of the things that a lot of people criticize me about, but they haven't gotten into that stage of life. If you're 18 years old and you're sitting there and you're like, oh, Ivan is shit, he's always changing his crap, blah, 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 blah. My friend, when you are 34 years old and you have 2 kids and one on the way, and you do weekly night shifts and you spend a lot of your time working in the emergency department where everyone's sick, everyone's coughing in your face, you come to me and we have the conversation. You know, I'll be 50 when you're 30, but I reckon you will understand one day what it's about to actually have other responsibilities other than just training. If you are my age, if you're 30, 40, 50, if you're an adult with other things that concern you other than training, and there's other responsibilities you have, you will understand this. But there are a lot of people that will message me, comment with hate, without grasping the full picture. Now, I don't blame people for not being 20 years older, 15, 10 years older and having that experience. But I think it's valid and it's important to mention these types of things. You are not living in a vacuum. You're far from living in a vacuum, dude. You are living in a world that is more than just a barbell. As much as you want to make that your life, and some people get very, very close, especially like the people that I mentioned with the athletes and content creators, people that just live off of this stuff, they will get close. But for the majority of people out there, be very, very careful how you look at certain things, because you don't know how they live their life. If you really, really want to squat 300, you will really, really, really have to gear your life, the rest of your life, to that. That's something that I've learned along the way. You know, I thought 300 was possible. Is 300 possible for somebody that's got 2 kids, works a full-time job, mortgage, other responsibilities, you know, chores? I mean, a lot of these people that I've seen, you know, they are not living the life that I'm living. A lot of these people seem like they don't even have a significant other. They don't have a partner. They don't have kids. A lot of these people are like social rejects. A lot of these people, they just sit around in their basement, making videos, training, sleeping, eating, you know, and then they'll come taking drugs, and then they'll come and they'll criticize some guy who's got a lot more on the plate. I'm not saying this is an excuse. All I'm purely saying is that when you are viewing other people Don't just be like, I want to do that. I don't know if a lot of people are willing to do that. Are you willing to sacrifice that much of your life? If you do, that's fine, man. There's many different forms of life. You can live how your life however you want. But it's something that you need to consider when you are sitting down and trying to work out the program for the next year or the program for the next couple of weeks. This is something that I'm always talking about, man. I'm always auto-regulating, and sometimes maybe I don't convey that message properly. But I've learned it so many times, and I keep tripping up over the same things. My kids are sick, and I'll go in and start doing 10 sets of 10. My kids are not sick right now. Actually, my boy's a bit sniffly, but this is something that goes through my mind. And, do I put that into the program? Yeah. Sometimes I write that into my program. Somebody's sick in the house, somebody's, blah, 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 blah. I didn't sleep this night, that night. When I started really letting myself auto-regulate my training, I really started to feel more connected with my training. I started to enjoy training more because I'm accounting for other things in my life. If I'm going through a tough period at work, or if I'm going through a tough period at home or something like that, and I have to go to war because the program said that gets me down. That emotionally gets me down. The willpower starts to drain and all this sort of stuff because I'm fighting myself. I'm fighting against the grain. But if I start thinking to myself, no, I'm going to think about this. I'm going to think about it. Am I ready? Do I have the resources to fight this war? If I don't have the resources to fight this war, what am I doing really here? You think you can break biology? No worries, go for it. Fight the war with no resources. You will get beat. You will get beat. You'll weaken your system because you haven't slept, you haven't eaten. You will pick up a bug from somebody that's around you, very, very close. Your kids are always next to your nose, sleep nose to nose. So you're going to get sick from them. You might get sick anyway, but what I'm saying is if you really deplete your system through training, you're more likely to get sick. So these are some of the things that I think about. Maybe it's not really well spoken. It's not sexy, but it's the reality. I think we all idolize these athletes with perfect conditions. They have teams behind them, but really, a lot of us can't get to those, situations. A lot of people say, oh, he's a genetic freak. Is he a genetic freak, or is he a social freak? He's just a social exclusion. He doesn't have friends. He doesn't have anything. Is that a genetic freak? I'll ask you that with all the respect. Is he a genetic freak? Because that person that you think is a genetic freak doesn't go out, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't party, doesn't have friends, doesn't have kids, doesn't have a wife, doesn't have anything. All he does is sleep, eat, train, repeat. And we're like, oh, he's a genetic freak. Is he a genetic freak? Or is he a social freak? He doesn't have any friends. Maybe he's got some mental instability. But everyone out there is like, oh, he's a genetic freak. Yeah, man, no worries. If I tell my kids to piss off and tell my wife to piss off and I go on an island and all I really do is just eat, sleep, yeah, probably I'll get stronger. All of a sudden I have better genetics. There's more to this. All I'm saying is there's more to this than it meets the eye. And a lot of culture right now is like, oh, he's a genetic freak. Man, let's zoom out a little bit and examine the guy's life. What does he have going on in his life? And I'm not saying I'm better or worse or whatever. I'm just saying it's a spectrum. Where are you in life as a journey? Where are you, what's going on? That's all I'm saying. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you can still make the most of it, but still think to yourself, be fair to yourself. Don't fight yourself. Don't kill yourself. People have different situations, different, life stages, and you just have to be mindful of that. And I reckon that will help you in moving forward and trying to work out how you're going to go about certain things. But it's something that I have learned to get better as I went along, as my family is expanding. I'm constantly thinking about, okay, how do I navigate this? How do I get my training in and not miss out on all of these other things? So I'm there for my son, for my daughter always, for my wife. Oftentimes I'm training in odd hours or early hours, or if we've got a big day that we have to do, oftentimes I'm doing it really late or really, really early. It's just one of those things. One of those things. But just be mindful and aim to train in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, because in my experience, a lot of people drop off. A lot of people drop off, even like mid-20s, they drop off. Why? Well, they've finished university, they finished their trade, they start to work. It's easy when you got all the free time on your hands to go to the gym. But can you go to the gym? Can you find, do you love this stuff enough to go to the gym after you've worked a full day's work, after you've spent time with the family, had dinner with the family? Are you then going to go to the gym when the kids have gone to sleep or whatever? Now we're talking, right? But when you're a loner in a basement with no friends, no kids, no wife, that is an easy thing to do, to train. What else are you going to do? You're going to watch more porn? You're going to watch more Netflix? You're going to play some more video games? Or you're going to live the bar? How difficult are these choices? So if you're early 20s, I strongly recommend you develop a relationship, a connection with training, make it a lifestyle. But I know for a fact, I mean, I'm in my mid-30s now, I know for a fact that a lot of people drop this off real quick. Dude, I have a job now, I have a kid now, I don't have time for the gym. Okay, that's fine, man, you do you. You do you. But that same person was criticizing me for taking it easy in my training, or for not improving. For 2.5 kilos I've improved in the last year in the squat. That's the same person that will criticize me. You're criticizing me, but you don't even train anymore, dude. Because the moment you got a job and you got a kid and a wife, you stop training. But I'm the bad guy who improved 2.5 kilos this last year. All I'm saying is zoom out, look at some of these influencers that you get influenced by. Look at their life. Is that somebody that you would look up to? Is that somebody that is attractive to you? You know, sometimes, you know, man, I'm a big basketball fan, soccer fan. And a lot of times I've been kind of set back by people. Like when I hear stories about certain individuals like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Ronaldo, Messi, you see kind of like real life stories from people that are in their life, and you're like, holy shit, you're an asshole, man. I don't think I would be friends with you. That is not a person I would want to be friends with. And yet I've idolized you when I was a kid. And I thought just because you played basketball and soccer really, really well, I just assumed that every other part of you is good. No. You don't have friends. You don't do anything for anybody. You're not a very nice human being. You're a great soccer player, great basketball player. But you're a loser. It's interesting. Interesting perspective. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Let me crank this just a little bit now. Crank that. I'm going to get out of here, shower, and that's it for me. Try and get an early night. After all, I have not slept much in the last day or so. So, looking forward to that. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Oh, man. There we go. Oh, gonna be sore tomorrow, I reckon.